Grand Cherokee. This is a green Jeep Grand Cherokee special edition. So this car has a very hard power steering, and the reason is there's fluid all over here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start the car, and we're gonna see. I'm gonna show you guys what I find out on this car. And the problem is right down there. You're gonna see bubbles coming out from the power steering line is busted. You can't see it nothing, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna change the high pressure line, and then we'll show you after that once we have the line out. Turn it off. The line is hitting right in the corner there, so how to change this power steering line is quite a bit of steps. So what we're gonna do is first we're gonna remove this filter housing right here, upper and lower. So we're gonna have all this out. That's gonna give us a lot of room to work down there. And let me show you the power steering line, the one we have. Power steering line, it screws in to the gearbox and a power steering pump. It comes with 2 O-rings. They're in there, these 2 little O-rings. Make sure you put the O-rings here and on the other end here. And the line goes cross from the bottom, it comes from this pump and goes straight down and comes back up into the gearbox. I'm gonna remove this cover. You got a couple of clips here. There's clips on the opposite end, just like this one right here. These are retainers. Use a screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver. Oh, you gotta push it from the bottom. Alright, we're gonna take this top cover off. You're gonna remove this number 8 right here. Once you have all the 4 clips around it. When we're done, we'll clean up this a little bit. We'll wipe it down a little bit. And it's a mess. So once we have this out, we're gonna take this off and put it to the side. The filters. So he's gonna take it off from the other end too, so the whole duct pipe comes out. That makes it more easy. Whatever makes it more easy for you. We'll take this filter, put it to the side. And just take that filter off. We're gonna take off this. We're gonna take out this also. There's like a number 14 down there, 13 or 14. Match up a socket. We're gonna take out this whole air filter housing. There's one over here, but the cover is broken. See one down here is broken, so we're not even gonna take that apart. We don't even have to put it back together from there. So long extension and a number 13 or a 14. Just match it up, make sure it's the correct size. That might be a 13 because American cars usually it's gotta be 13. And then on this end, it has like a little rubber mallet right there that's sticking in there, so you just yank it up. This side is broken, so that's fine. We didn't do it.
Like it's spinning inside.
Alright, so that bolt is like free playing inside. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to yank it out of there. So once this is out, we're gonna show you this. We're gonna have to yank it both of us. So we're gonna take this out of there. And once we have this out of there, you have a lot of room to work on this car now. And what we're gonna do is this is the line we're changing. This line goes down and comes back up, and this is the line. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this bolt down here. Let me get my light closer. We're gonna move this little bolt down here, and then we're gonna follow the line, and this line comes back up here on the power steering pump all the way on the top here. So match up a tool there, and this is the line that comes up here. Alright, he's gonna match up the tools. Meanwhile, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to see if we can find this line also, because this looks so terrible. Let me call up the parts guy and let me find this out. So we're ready to take this apart. The other line is corroded. I ordered something, but he said he doesn't know if it might fit or not, but we gotta get something in there. But meanwhile, we're gonna take out the other line. That's the one that's in the bottom. That's a number 18 down here, and we're gonna use the crow feet. Okay, he used it already to remove it, but now he got it loose, and this was what we was using to get down there. That's a number 18 crow feet. You get it in there and turn it. So it's all loose. He can probably take it out by hand.
Let it clean around. This brush can go inside.
Alright, so we'll clean around a little bit because he doesn't want the corrosion to go in there. If you have a brake cleaner or something, you can just wipe it down, spray a little bit. That looks good. Yeah, we're not touching that line yet till I get the new line for that one. That's a return line. That's a small little metal return line. Alright, so he has it clean. What we're gonna do is we're gonna try to take that out of there. Let me see if I can get a better angle so you can see it on the camera. There you go. This has a little O-ring right down here. This has a little, go back, too close. This has a little O-ring there, so when you do put a new one in, make sure you have an O-ring there. And we're gonna put this somewhere safe. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go on top of this power steering pump and put my light up there. We're gonna remove this right here, this one right here. And let me get my light closer. That might be a different number, like a 15 or a 16. Once you take that out, the line should just come up. It's a 16 millimeter, so you can use a 16 wrench. There you go. This is jammed also in there. This is a 2004 Jeep Grand Cherokee. I don't know if I mentioned the different year, but this is 2004. This is a 4.0 liter. There you go. He has the line out. So it's out of there. And what we'll do is we'll lift it out of there. And we'll bring this line out. We'll lift this shirt up. Just gonna have to wiggle it out of there somehow, some way. And there you go. This line, I want to show you something. Bring it here. Bring it back. I don't want to drip it everywhere. This line was leaking from here somewhere because this corrosion right here. This is where it was leaking from, right here. It's bubbling up. It was hitting on top of that steering rack, steering gearbox. Alright, so what we're gonna do is you want to make sure the old seals are out. So they both are out. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring the new line over. Make sure you clean the surface little on both ends. We'll stick the line in there just like that. Before we stick it in, let's put on the O-rings because they're gonna be hard for you to put them in there.
They can fall.
They won't fall. He's saying that the rings might fall, but this has like a little groove to it, so they will not fall out. So if you're gonna put an O-ring here, they're both the same size. You just take it by your hand, just put it on. Make sure you don't drop it down there. There you go, just like that. Simple as that. And you do the same thing on the opposite end. Bring it close so we can see it here. Bring it close, do it here so we can see it on the camera. So you take that O-ring, that's the seal. You don't put that in, it's gonna leak. There you go. So be careful, like he said, it can fall out. So if it does fall out, make sure you put it back in there. A lot of time you won't see the O-ring fall out. And next thing you know, you did put it on, but it fell out as you was working on it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come down here first. We're gonna get this side in first. Just by hand, tighten that. Make sure you don't cross thread it. You gotta get it in there by hand first. So the upper line might be bothering him. You might have to remove that a little bit and get it out of the place. Is this bothering the top line? This line?
No.
No, it's not bothering. Can't use a wrench on yet. You're gonna cross thread it.
You do it slow. I gotta do it by hand.
So make sure you get it in there and you don't cross thread it. He's doing it very gently with the wrench because his hands are greasy, oily, and it slips, he says. So that phone and we're gonna come right back. All right, so he got a couple of threads in there. What he's gonna do is he's gonna try to get as much as he can before he lock it up. That way we can maneuver this line a little bit. All right, there you go. That should be enough for now. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go up on the top here. Let's get the top one in now.
What?
Same thing, you want to grab those threads without cross threading the threads. Make sure you could either do it by hand or if you have experience, use a wrench. get it?
No. I'm trying to get my eyes to see.
Got it?
Huh?
Got it?
Yeah, got it.
Alright, so after a few turns, he caught the threads evenly. Now what we'll do is we'll tighten both ends. Nothing to worry about. So you want to make sure it's nice and tight.
You want to pull more first?
Yeah, just tighten it. There you go, that's it. And we'll do the same thing in the bottom here. So that's 18. You're gonna make it nice and tight. You want to hold the line so it doesn't move with the. That's your tight, and that's it. It's nice and tight. So that's it. That's how you change line on a 2000 high pressure power steering line on a 2004 Jeep Grand Cherokee. And we're gonna wait for that second line if you can find something. And if not, we're gonna have to get it online somewhere. But meanwhile, we're gonna leave the air duct pipes open till we receive the piece we ordered. We're gonna remove this line also because it's all rusted. Alright, so this line is twisting with the bolt. So what we'll do, since it came forward, let's remove that clamp, and then we could just turn the whole line. This whole line can turn and come out. So we have the clamp out of the way. We'll push the line off that. Should come off easily by hand. It's all rusted, corroded. Can we lift it up? It's leaking fluid. Stick something in there. Get a bolt. Line out from there. We stuck a little bolt in front of the line over there, so it doesn't leak out, because it still has fluid in the reservoir. This clean fluid because he's been putting it. Now what we can do is we can continue taking off this line. You twist it on. If it moves, the line moves with the bolt, you just let it go round and round. You might have to lift it up there, bend it up, or hold it. Just twist the top. Just twist the top. So now,
I'm not gonna touch.
no, but I can't see. That's why. Okay. Once it's loose, you can just twist it like that. Get all the corrosion out of the way so it doesn't fall inside the gearbox. That's it. Nice and clean. Now we can just twist it off. And this one also has an O-ring in the bottom. Make sure you get that O-ring out of there and place a new O-ring. There you go. This is the line.
The O-ring's there.
O-ring is there. So what we'll do is put that to the side. Put it somewhere to the side so it doesn't. Not throw it in the garbage. You gotta take it out of there later. Next, what we'll do is get that dirt out of there so it doesn't fall in. And now what we're gonna do is this is the new line we have. It's a little different angle, but we couldn't find anything else. So we're gonna place this in there. This has the little O-ring in the front. It'll be in a different angle. We might have to, yeah. That's good. So he's trying to catch the threads on that. There we have it. He caught the thread. The seal is in there, and now we're gonna just tighten that up. It's nice and tight. You can try moving it. It should not move no longer. And that's it. What we'll do is we'll put this in there. Remove that little sticker so the line can go on it flush. And what we'll do is we'll test this for leaks. We're gonna put the hose in next. Drop the clamp. The line comes with a new clamp, so we're gonna put the new clamp in there also. This is the new clamp. This is a low pressure line, so you don't have to worry about it too much. Right, we're gonna get the old clamp off so we can put the new clamp on. So you got the clamp off, and now we're ready to stick this line in there. We're gonna stick as far as we can because we still want to get that same angle. There you go, that's good enough. And the new clamp is there. We'll tighten that up. It's a quarter flathead. Quarter. So remember, if you're doing the high pressure line, you might as well do this one, because this one didn't look so good, so it's best you do it together. Good. Alright, so we have that on. Now what we'll do is we'll put some power steering fluid in this. Let's see what it looked like first. It might have, because the customer been adding it. Yeah, that one looks empty. So we'll fill some up. On these Jeeps, you can do use the universal power steering fluid. You could use a hydraulic fluid, transmission fluid. So we're gonna fill this up halfway.
Half, right?
Yeah. Alright, so we got this fluid filled up. We're gonna put the cap on, and we're gonna hold on to one or two rag, because sometimes this wants to come up, it wants to bubble out. There's air in the system. So I'm gonna start this car up. It's probably gonna grind and make all kinds of noises till the air bleeds out. We're not gonna put the air duct pipe here yet. It's okay for a few seconds. Alright, so it's running and there's no leakages. From here or here, there's no leak. Yeah, we can spray some of this cleaner. Alright, that's it. This looks good. I'm gonna turn the steering anyway to make sure. This looks good. This is fine. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put the air duct pipe on, and after that we'll clean up little. Fine. Make sure you put everything back together. Some of these bolts are broken, even the one inside, so it's okay. This thing will hold itself. Make sure it's nice and aligned with everything. Hitting on this end. There you go. It sits in there. Alright, now we'll put the filter on. And then the air housing cap goes in next. I'll take this out. Alright, so once you have the filter and top and bottom everything is lined, make sure you put these clamps in. There's 4 of them. One, and then you have do on the opposite side, and then make sure you tighten up the number 8 bolt here. Alright, we're back. We just gotta line it up. It was lined up properly. And that looks better. That's it. Alright, so all 4 clamps are holding this air filter housing down, and we're gonna tighten that thing. Another bolt here, and then at the end, make sure you top off the fluid. It's probably gonna have air bubbles inside. After just once he's finished tightening that, we'll open up the cap to see if there's any bubbles in the reservoir. Alright, let's see. It's gonna be all white and bubbly inside. You see that? It's all bubbly in there. It's all white. That's bubbles. So it's gonna bleed this off. It's gonna grind a little bit. It's gonna scream the pump, but that's okay. And we'll put more fluid in there. Put some more fluid in there. Just want to make this like halfway. And that's it. We're gonna let it sit there for a little while, and after that we'll come back, and you can do the same and just test it out and check for leaks. You can let the car run for a good 10-15 minutes. And that's it. And the job is done.